What's up guys, Rob the Awesome here, and today we're back with some more awesome TF2 loadouts. This series is dedicated to showing off awesome weapon and cosmetic combinations in TF2 to make the game that much more fun to play. There are thousands of weapon combinations to choose from that can improve the gameplay experience immensely. But today we're going to be looking at a loadout that lets you play as Saxton Hale himself, giving you intense crushing power that'll have the enemy team exploding from your mighty punches. I bring to you guys the Saxton Hale Heavy Loadout, a fun variation on the Heavy that gives you the chance to punch people as everyone's favorite CEO of Manco. You're the manliest man around. The only thing fitting enough to kill opponents with is your bare hands, and luckily, those come with unlimited ammo. Your flurry of punches will have people demolished in seconds. You saw the SFM short, but with how slow you are as Heavy, it's going to be tough to land one of those punches in the first place. Luckily, with your primary and secondary options, you'll have an easier time achieving those melee kills and knocking them down one by one. They work in unison to make the melee Heavy more viable in combat, and all while giving you a fun time you'll never forget. Valve has been holding back Saxton Hale's manliness for years. He's way too powerful for this game, but a couple of shadow buffs to the remaining pieces of his cosmetic setup in the Inferno update has brought him back to life, causing mayhem and carnage wherever he goes. The loadout consists of the brass beast, the buffalo steak sandwich, and the stock fists. All items that'll boost up your manliness factor to the max. Although the weapons look neat with the setup, it's not enough though that they have a theme. We also have to take a look at the weapons individually in order to assess the loadout in its entirety. In the primary slot, the brass piece is your tool needed in tough situations where range and damage are of the utmost importance. The gun has a 20% damage bonus for intense shredding power, and in addition to that, you have a 20% damage resistance when below 50% HP and with the gun spun up. More damage will easily take down enemies a whole lot quicker, and the damage resistance on spin up will be a saving grace when overpowered. Great start, but these upsides come at a price. The gun has a 50% slower spin up time, taking 1.3 seconds to get any bullets out of your gun. Lastly, you are 60% slower when the weapon is spun up, making you an easier target to pick off and have very little to work with in terms of advancement. The brass beast might not be the greatest in terms of miniguns, but in defensive or flanking situations where this loadout will shine, it can be a godsend to you and your team. 1.3 seconds to fully spin up your minigun really isn't that bad, but the slower movement speed can be a hassle. That slow movement speed can be countered with the defensive and flanking situations you put yourself into, since the speed is worthless unless trying to chase someone, which in all honesty you shouldn't be doing with a minigun to begin with. Out of the many uses this weapon can provide, the important thing with this setup is that the brass beast will draw your focus towards the other weapons in your loadout in order to bring out the true Saxton Hale within you. The brass beast is a great last resort and team viability tool, but for this setup, the other weapons will play a more crucial role in this arsenal. So now, let's see how this primary pairs up with the rest of the set. In the secondary slot, the buffalo steak sandwich is what only the toughest of men eat on a whim. After consuming this piece of succulent steak, your movement speed is increased to that of a pyro, giving you lots of distance to tackle your foes. On top of that, all of your attacks are now converted to mini crits when consumed, upping your melee damage to a whopping 88 damage per hit. However, when eaten, you take an increased 20% damage from all sources and you are only limited to your melee weapon, making your primary and secondary options non-existent for the allotted 16 seconds your steak lasts. Lastly, you are also able to share your steak with a friend, giving them 50% of their health back. This can pair nicely with your primary in specific situations and can help save a medic to further benefit your team. The steak is a great way to two-shot a class that isn't paying attention. Get a random crit and you can pretty much destroy any class into a fine pulp. With this fun loadout, your primary source of damage is your melee. This manly source of nutrition will be your gateway to more and more kills. Sure, you take 20% more damage, but proper planning and flanking techniques can just about counter it no problem. Your steak doesn't last forever, unfortunately. After the 16-second timer is up, you have to wait another 14 seconds for another one. But with map knowledge, you can counter that too. When you use your steak, find the nearest health pack along the way. Make sure you are at max HP, and if you are, that health pack will replenish your timer to the max, lessening the interval between sandwiches. Play smartly, only advance when necessary and catch your opponents by surprise. This weapon is the perfect piece for insane damage and speedy attacks. Now, let's see how this last weapon stacks up with the rest of the arsenal. In the melee slot, the stock fists are your greatest weapon for tearing your opponent's limb from limb. Saxton Hale doesn't need any form of melee addition. He is so strong that his fists are a straight upgrade to everything else. Well, perhaps the Heavy's fists aren't a direct upgrade, but this is for cosplay's sake, so bear with me on this one. Your melee does the standard 65 damage like a majority of the melees do in this game, and nothing else. That's all. Your fists are mainly there to be a resemblance to the real Saxton. Pair it with a buffalo steak sandwich and you've got an awesome 88 damage per hit. You can pretty much two-shot everything that isn't a soldier or a heavy. You can take down a majority of the classes in less than a second. How crazy is that? And don't get me started on the potential random crit crit, no one will be alive to tell the tale afterwards, that's for sure. Saxton Hale is crazy powerful, and you can be that way too. With the awesome loadout provided, you can set your mind to an exciting new realm of heavy that many are too chicken to tread. Saxton Hale is an inspiration to all of the mercs. To one day be as powerful and as handsome as he is, powers them to keep fighting each and every day. We're now at the precipice of being the ultimate Saxton Hale. These weapons will be your key to doing just that. The Brass Beast as a defensive last resort and as a focus for your melee gameplay, the Buffalo Steak Sandwich being useful for both melee and primary styles of play, and your Mighty Fist to take on anybody that stands in your way. You might even stand a chance against Saxton Hale himself with this combination. But enough about the weapons. Let's pair these weapons with cosmetic items that give this set the full-on Saxton transformation. There are a ton of opportunities to turn the heavy into Saxton Hale himself. It'll be like a real-time cosplay at its finest. With the 3 cosmetic slots the game offers, I suggest Saxton Hale's signature hat, a mustache, and an extra piece to make the whole thing stand out. If you want to look like Saxton Hale, you'll need to steal his one-of-a-kind looking hat. Luckily, thanks to the Jungle Inferno update, we now have the ability to acquire that one piece we need. The one hat suitable for the job is none other than this Saxton. Once you've gotten your hands on his hat from doing all those contracts, your next step is to grow a mustache of his might and caliber, or at least glue one to your face. Some of the awesome mustaches include the Carl and the Dictator, to really give you that face-to-face value. Lastly, you'll need to look muscular, whether that be your arms or your legs. You need to show the world your unlimited power. The muscle-bound cosmetics that I'd recommend are the Heavy Lifter and the Jungle Booty, to complete the entirety of your Saxton Hale lookalike. You now have what it takes to cosplay as everyone's favorite Australian powerhouse. Your impeccable setup will give you all the tools necessary to smash your opponents into pieces. It's a fun, jokey loadout that will certainly help rejuvenate that passion for the game. It's intense, hilarious, and overall fun. You don't even need the cosmetics to have a good time with the awesome combinations the weapons present themselves to have. I suggest you all give this awesome TF2 loadout a try. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like these types of videos, leave a like and subscribe. And if you got your very own loadout you want to show off, you can even put that in the comments as well. Remember to be awesome, stay awesome, and to have an awesome day. I'm Rob the Awesome, and I'll see you guys later. Ciao for now.
Motherfucker, I'm awesome. No, you're not, dude. Don't lie. I'm awesome. I'm driving around in my mom's ride. I'm awesome. A quarter of my life gone by, and I met all my friends online. Motherfucker, I'm awesome. I will run away from a brawl. I'm awesome. There's no voicemail, nobody calls. I'm awesome. I can't afford to buy 8 balls, and I talk to myself on my Facebook wall. You know my pants sag low.